Welcome back to Blue Rush, our New York Giants podcast from the New York Post. I'm Jake Brown alongside Super Bowl champion Brandon London. We have two hosts out. The Giants win a game, and we got two guys who have dropped like flies. One of them is traveling home from the game. He decided to not stay in by FedEx Field. I guess I can't blame him. There were no warm showers after the game, so Devito's hair couldn't get done. None of these guys were able to take a damn shower. A lot of stanky players after the game. Maybe Paul Schwartz was just smelly and just decided to go home. So we have no Paul Schwartz, and Lawrence Tynes, our normal co-host and former teammate of our special guest co-host today, is going to Hawaii. Must be nice. We're here in the cold. I'm down in South Carolina. It's a little warm. You're like 50, 60. Brandon London coming from New Jersey, and our guest, you know him so well. He is a former Giants cornerback where he played from 2011 through 2015 with Big Blue. He is now in Arizona. He's got 5 kids. He's a busy man, and he's also got a ring on his finger. Well, one from, I assume, his wife, and another one from the Giants, a Super Bowl champion ring. He was Lawrence Tynes' teammate in Super Bowl 46. Let's welcome in a Blue Rush, Prince Amukamara. Prince, welcome to the program. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you,
BL. You got intro like that. That's it. Thanks for having
It was a
me.
great
What's up, man?
It was a great intro. I didn't want to mess it up. Thanks for having me. I mean, I was gonna show that little thing right there in the corner, but I didn't. I don't know. I'm thankful though.
So
thanks for having me.
How much ice is like? How many carats is in that? Like how? Because you got it in a big old case. It looks pretty big there.
Yeah, no, it's nice. So I guess because it's a replica, it can't be the same size as the actual trophy. So it's 3/4 that size. Yeah, but it's solid. I mean, it has everyone's name on it, the score, all that jazz and stuff like that. So it's solid.
But you know what the real thing looks like. So it's like,
exactly. Right.
BL, you got your ring, your 42 ring somewhere? Wasn't there a story behind that ring?
In a safe, man. I've almost lost it before when I got cut by the Steelers.
Too.
When I got cut by the Steelers, I had in the back of my truck. So I drove back from Pittsburgh all the way back to Jersey. And then my truck got broken into, but it was in a bag inside of a bag, inside of a bag, inside of a bag. So they didn't take it. They took the GPS. Remember the portable GPSs back in the day? They took that instead. So it was, I'm lucked up. I started keeping it in the safe after that.
Prince, what's your story? How'd you almost lose yours?
Man, I was at this like Christian sports kids camp in Arizona, and I was volunteering, and I left mine in my backpack. And I left my backpack somewhere, and I'm thinking, man, it's a Christian camp. It's gonna turn up. It has to, right? Like these dudes, these little kids follow God and follow Jesus and stuff like that. And then it wasn't turned up like it was. I was there for like 3 or 5 days, and it wasn't turning up. And then I think like on the last day, it turned up, and I was so excited. So what they did was they announced like, hey, there's a backpack. They didn't say what was in the backpack because then it might not have turned up. So they just said, hey, there's a backpack. Miss please turn in. And then it finally got turned in. I was super thankful. And then from that point on, safe. And then but right the worst, safe. The scariest one, fellas, was I was in the Super Bowl was in LA like 2 or 3 years ago when the Rams won it. I think it was it was after COVID. So 2021, 2022. I was downtown in LA, and I had my Super Bowl ring with me, and I was going into this it was like a lounge, just like a Super Bowl party. I was like, should I leave my ring in the car? Should I take it? I said, you know what, I'm gonna take it. I go, and they did, LA and San Francisco is kind of known for their smash and grab, busting the windows in and taking out the stuff. And they took everything I had in the car. And I was just so thankful I had my ring. I took my ring with me. So now I'm like you, B. I'm leaving it in the safe. It's not, it's nowhere to, Yep.
Well, your ring turned up, and so did the Giants. How about that for a transition?
Yes,
the Giants turned the F up on Sunday at FedEx Field. The showers, as I said, the hot showers weren't turned up, but the Giants were in. He's not Danny, but he is Tommy DeVito. And man, he loves a good chicken cutlet. Like, Lawrence mentioned how I love a good chicken parm. He loves a chicken cutlet. His mom still cooks for him. His mom still does his laundry. Well, she must have had some extra good smelling dryer sheets on his laundry waking up on Sunday, because he turned up 3 touchdowns. BL, I'll start with you. Devito was fantastic. The Giants' defense was amazing. Kayvon Thibodeau continues to get better and better. It feels like every week. He had 2 sacks. The Giants get a pick 6, seal the deal. They win 31-19. You know, the kryptonite for the Giants is not the Washington Commanders, because the last Giants win a month ago was over the Commanders. And Sunday, BL, they do it again, and they look pretty damn good doing it. This looked like a completely different offense than the one we've watched the last few weeks with Devito, who have only really scored and done things on offense in garbage time.
Yeah, the Giants were like, they listened to Tynes last week when Tynes was like, this is a broken franchise, and they made sure that they didn't lose to another broken franchise. You know, that new ownership that they have going down there, you can say what you want about the woes that the Giants go through, but I mean, when you think about the Commanders, man, it's rough for them, and then not to be able to beat the Giants at all this year and get swept. But going to Tommy DeVito, you know, hats off to Mike Kafka, Brian Dable for opening it up and just looking at the situation and being like, you know what, get out there, throw the ball. You can say what you want about the sacks. Obviously, you never want to see someone take that many sacks. But at the end of the day, he was holding on to the ball to try and push the ball down the field. And that's what I wanted to see. You want to see him progress in terms of being able to hit the check down, not take as many sacks. But you had seven guys, 7 pass catchers on the day. You got the ball to 7 different guys. You got a chance to evaluate a Darius Slayton. Isaiah Hodgins only had 2 catches, but that was kind of expected in terms of a day with a third quarterback, but got the ball to a Wan'Dale Robinson as well. So we got a chance to really look at the Giants offense, the weapons, the playmakers, and they got a chance to really put something on tape today. So shout out to Tommy DeVito for that. And I guess it's something for him to build towards for the rest of the year and have that confidence, which he's not short of, to go out and perform for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Prince, how about this defense? You know, we talk about the offense. You were, Brandon was an offensive player. You were a defensive player. And, Kayvon Thibodeau has heard all the talk. He's heard, BT and Sal. He's heard Carl Banks be hung up on WFAN. He's heard all the noise that have surrounded him. And he just said, you know what, I'm going to go out and ball. And once again, 2 sacks today. Simmons, guys that that you've gone up against, played really well today. And for a Giants team that's 2-8, I think it says a lot to, defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, and it says a lot to the players who are still going out there and showing up. They're forcing turnovers, and they made Sam Howell's, whose stats this season have been fantastic, they made his life a living hell on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. I think this win kind of really shows the character of Coach Daves and his impact on the team. Just super resilient. The Giants were in a position where they had a tough week against the Cowboys last week, and they could have just hung their heads down, but they came out swinging. And I remember there's a coach by the name of Coach Dave Merritt. He's now the secondaries coach at the Chiefs, but when I was with him at the Giants, he's always said, like, keep losing teams losing. So that was the Commanders' job. They should have kept the Giants losing. Like, they're losing team, like, don't let them get any hope versus us. And they came up short on that. And so hats off to the Giants, hats off to Coach Daves. And yeah, the defense played lights out. Anytime you can win the turnover margin, I mean, your percentages of winning goes up, and the Giants did just that.
Hey,
BL, what'd you see from the Giants defense, BL? Today?
I mean, hats off to obviously Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden. Linebacking core has been, I believe, the best position group that showed up consistently each week. But shout out to Xavier McKinney, man. He was all over the field throughout the day. And Prince, I wanted to ask you, man, like, you've heard about the kind of the gripe, the noise that all went down last week, and Wink Martindale kind of calling him out after he kind of threw Wink under the bus. For the player to go out and still ball out like that, is that more, who gets more props in the locker room and within the fan base, the player or the coach for the performance?
Definitely the player, right? The player's the one out there playing. And yeah, for Xavier to come out and have the game he did, he deserves all the props. And I mean, and even with, just like I Isaiah Simmons, right? Him getting the pick and making a huge impact. And the thing is with desperate teams, and I want to call the Giants desperate just because of the record. Like desperate teams can be so scary because they have nothing to lose. So Devito can take deep shots when your stats are showing like okay third and whatever they're supposed to throw something short. No, he's gonna throw a deep ball because he has nothing to lose. And so I hope Dave's job is not on the line, but he was coaching today like his job was, and his job shouldn't be on the line. I feel like he's the definitely the best guy for this team and for this job, but you can't give the Giants enough props. I mean, they went out there and got it done when a lot of people didn't believe that they could.
Prince, did you ever have a time in your career where like you were just pissed off at a defensive coordinator and you didn't like the way he was calling a game, calling a season? You're laughing, which means you probably did at some
Yeah,
point. Like, but you didn't want to throw him under the bus. You didn't want to say anything. But in your mind, you're like, this freaking guy called a cover 3 again, or whatever it
right.
was. And you were just pissed off at him and you just had to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I mean, it's always like that, especially as a corner, because you can like yes, we want to play cover one, of course. We're gonna have to man up, pun intended, and play man. But like when when it's been a long drive, when they just threw a deep ball and you're gonna call cover zero again, you're gonna call cover. It's like, come on, give us some cover two. But as I've gotten older, you have to understand the coach's perspective is like, you guys don't deserve cover two. You've been letting you gave up a deep ball in cover two, so I have to have tighter coverage and stuff like that. So my story would be Super Bowl year, defensive coordinator by the name of Perry Fuel, who works for the NFL office right now, on the refing committee, which is just indifferent. But anyways, so he he, he was calling calls where Mike Boley, our linebacker, didn't like it. A couple of our DBs didn't like it. So we started changing the calls, or the defensive linebacker started changing the calls because he's the captain and stuff like that. And it wasn't working for us. And so that's where the all in term came from because first, like we had a Bible study, and the phrase of the Bible study was all in, and then Justin Tuck and Antro Rowe kind of ran with that and said, "Hey, forget it. He's gonna call the call. We're gonna play it. We're all in. No more changing the calls. We're just gonna play. We're just gonna play it. He could call cover three 30 straight times. We're playing it. He could not call any blitzes for us D linemen, and we're just gonna play it. And it worked out for us. So yeah, I think sometimes you just have to be all in. And me personally, I would it's not in my character to I couldn't call out a coach or whatever. I would just address him after the game, or something like that behind the scenes. Even if he calls me out, I mean, I would never do that. I'm not in the business of burning bridges and stuff like that. And a quick story, there's a player that actually is so funny. He called out a coach, and it's my boy. They call him Swag Spoon Swearinger, DJ Swearinger. He said, "Man, I watch game film more than these coaches." I like he said that and stuff like that, and he wasn't on the team. I think the next week, so it never works well.
Yo, well, if you think about it, Wink Martindale, he deserves his props, and he kind of exonerates himself from those people with the pitchforks who are upset that he called out Xavier McKinney. I mean, you look at it, 4 or 5 turnovers on the day, and you look at multiple guys getting to the ball, making plays. Cordell Flott, Bobby Okereke, all these guys getting to the ball. So it shows that, even though the Dallas game was the Dallas games, it still showed that Wink Martindale still has a hold on this defense, that those guys still listen, those guys still want to play for him because they were absolutely lights out today. There was Nick McLeod, who stepped in and been big time. Darnay Holmes has his second pick in back-to-back games. Cordell Flott has caused the turnover in back-to-back games. You're getting a chance to kind of evaluate guys, and guys are stepping up throughout this course of the rough patch of the season. So you can tell, like when you say when you hope that Dable's not on the hot seat, or a guy like Wink Martindale him possibly being on the hot seat, that was a game for the defense for Wink Martindale to solidify their spot. That it's like going forward, this guy needs to be here.
100%. Yeah, 100. And sometimes calling out that usually works out for the team. I saw Bruce Arians do it to Tom Brady when Tom Brady was having going through a hard strut, and Tom Brady was lights out the next week. Especially when you do it to your key players, everyone else is looking like, oh whoa, like if he's gonna call him out, then he for sure is gonna call me out. So I need to get on my P's and Q's. So it definitely helps out everybody.
So, but what's worse in the player's mind when he calls you out in a team meeting type setting, or when he calls you out to the media in public? Now, you got to be feeling something, a little extra something when he calls you out to the media, right?
Yes, 100%. I mean, the team meeting is even though it's intimate, it's tough. I mean, it's intimate. You get to see him say it like he's talking directly to you, so your body's getting warm and stuff like that. And then when it's through the media, your boys are sending it to you. Everyone's seeing it. That's out there for the public. So now like everyone's gonna be watching you. All eyes are on you. Hold on, I never knew he would. I never knew he was messing up like this. Let me pay a little closer attention. So you really do have to show out. So I would say, yeah, media is on a larger scale because now everybody is going to be talking about it and everyone's going to be asking about it.
Well, the Giants, they win the game. That's what matters. They're 3-8. The losing streak is over. And listen, they could, not that they're going on a run here, but they could string a couple wins together because coming up next, they face the Patriots at MetLife Stadium, and the Patriots are just a disaster right now. And Bill Belichick, maybe his final, 7 games as head coach and maybe the Patriots era. I mean, that thing could be over. Everyone's talking about him. Commanders, where he might go. They're 2-8. And then, the Packers, who have not been very good. The Saints, who knows who their quarterback will be. They got the Eagles, Rams, Eagles again. So they might string a few more wins, which, it's a weird boat here, Prince and BL, is some Giant fans are mad that they won today because their hope is, hey, can we get a top 5 pick, get Caleb Williams, get a quarterback? You guys are players. You're never thinking, oh, we need to lose for a draft pick, obviously. But isn't it a strange dynamic for the fan base here who's hoping for a top 5 pick, might end up being like towards the 8 to 10 range, might not get the quarterback they want, and then more questions to be answered. It's something that, you battle every couple of years. In the last decade, Prince, it feels like it happens every year with the Giants is, are they going to be a top 5 pick? Are they going to be a top 5 pick? But you as a player, you're like, I need to go out there and win. I don't care how many wins, how many losses we have.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first, Prince. But yeah, me being a bubble guy, the most of my career, I wasn't thinking about dropping a ball on purpose so they can draft somebody in a higher draft pick the following year. Heck, as a receiver, I dropped that. Let's say Isaiah Hodgins drops a ball so they can draft Marvin Harrison Jr. You just drop the ball for your replacement to come in and take your checks. So as a player, I was never thinking that. I don't think any guys are ever thinking that, especially because no roster is going to be the same. Each year, the team is different. You write your story. It's completely different each year. So you're not going to lose games just to go ahead and get a draft pick. Plus, losing sucks. Anyway, you hate it. You hate that feeling. It's no fun. You can't do anything. You can't Snapchat. You can't do social media videos. You can't have fun. Can't play ping pong in the locker room when you're losing because everything gets scrutinized. And you're under a microscope and it's like, oh, you're not focused. Oh, you're supposed to be doing this. Oh, you're supposed to be at the facility. It's 10 o'clock at night. What am I supposed to be at the facility? You know what I'm saying, Prince? So I never thought of it as try and tank or try and lose games to get a higher draft pick. But then again, through my 3 years in the league, I was never on a team that wasn't good like that,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that draft pick isn't gonna put food on my family's table. Or it's not for sure that he is. And usually when everyone's losing, everything is heightened. So if I mess up or if we lose and I messed up on this game, I'm gonna be evaluated that much more. Even at the end, like if we end up with a losing season, like my job is still up for grabs. So I'm still trying to do the best I can do, and I'm hoping that the team can win it, or at least our defense is doing our job. So now when they go and evaluate the defense, it's like, okay, Prince was a big part. I mean, and if you go and look at K1 Kyler Murray situation down in Arizona, I'm sure like I'm out here in Arizona, and it sounds like they're screaming for Caleb Williams or Drake May. However, Kyler K1 is showing the Cardinals organization and the fans that, hey, no, like I'm I just came off ACL. He won a game last week and then had a solid game this week versus the Texans. So he's showing like, hey, like I'm still good. I can get the job done. So guys aren't guys aren't worried about draft picks, like you said, BL. Guys just trying to take care of the food on their table.
Blue Rush Podcast, Jake Brown, Brandon London, Prince Amukamara, New York Post Sports YouTube, and subscribe to Blue Rush wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on social media at Prince Amukamara on Twitter and Instagram, Brandon London TV, and at Jake Brown Radio. Prince, as I mentioned, it's Giants Patriots this week. I think there was a game that you played, against the Patriots that was kind of important, maybe about 11 years ago, was it? Take us back to that game. Just give us like your favorite memory, what you remember most from the second Giants Pats Super Bowl. Our usual co-host Lawrence Times was a big part of it as well. What are your memories of Giants Patriots in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna run them off. I mean, a few highlights was, I mean, I started first half on all special teams. So there's a guy named Matthew Slater that I had to take care of. I didn't know where this guy was because this guy was a wrecking ball. Whether he's a gunner on punt or whether he's the R5 L5 on kickoff, like I had to make sure I took care of him. So, but then second half, my boy Aaron Ross, the cornerback, he goes down with a hammy. So now I'm starting all second half on defense. And so I remember stepping on the field and just locking eyes with Tom Brady. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this dude's about to come at me every play. Because that's what vets do. They see a rookie out there, that's blood in the water. Let's go at him. And and it's crazy. Ocho Cinco's on the team. Aaron Hernandez was there. God rest his soul. Gronkowski, and so these are guys that I looked up to when I was in college, and the year previously. So I was a little kind of starstruck a little bit, but after the first play, that was done, and then we get to the Hail Mary, and our job as defensive players on the Hail Mary is there's only supposed to be one jumper. So no matter what you guys see on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, there's only supposed to be one jumper. So if more than one person jumps, guys get graded low. So there's only supposed to be one jumper, and everyone else is supposed to box out. And so, and Trell was our one jumper, and Trell roll. But everyone was looking at the ball, and I'm thinking what everyone was thinking. Let me get a pick to finish the game. Let me get this with this thing. So I abort my mission. The ball gets batted down, and then Gronkowski almost catches it. If you guys go and watch it, he almost catches it, and then Antrell goes and cleans him out, and then we win the game. Again, that could have been different. Again, Coach Dave Merritt, we still watch film the day after Super Bowl, and he shows us with the laser, wrong. He's putting laser on everybody that was wrong, and it could have ended differently, but thank goodness it didn't.
Wait, y'all watched film the day after the Super Bowl?
Yes.
You watched the film?
Yes. We still it still had to be evaluated.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's
You
supposed
know
to
how
be
that's how
over.
confident
Seasons.
it is.
There's nothing. It's like, coach, there's nothing to get better at. It's
I know.
over. It's done.
I think that was the only play that he wanted to show us. But yeah, I remember that vividly. And it's so funny when he went to. It's so funny now that Coach Merritt is with KC, and he's been in a couple of Super Bowls since then. He always puts us in a group text and shows us that play because so he remembers to coach it.
It's supposed to be gearing up for the parade the day after the
Right?
Super
Yeah.
Bowl. What the heck is going on?
I know.
Producer Andrew Hartz points out a cool little nugget is that you own a Tom Brady game used jersey that's signed. What's the
Oh,
story
I
behind
have it.
this
Hold on.
jersey? You have it? Yeah, you might have to show us if you could.
I could get it right now.
What is the
It's
story
actually
behind it? Did you win
oh,
in an auction? Did he give it to you? What's the story?
so this what happened. So I was having a great year with Chicago. And this was 2018. I was having a great year with Chicago, and we're playing the Patriots at home in Chicago. And I'm warming up, and BL, when you're warming up, the opposite team goes and passes the warm up line, and I see Tom, and then he comes up to me, beelines towards me, and I'm looking around, and he says, He says, "Hey, you're having a great year, whatever." And I'm like, "Man, thank you, I appreciate you. Can I get your jersey after the game?" He said, "Yeah, I got you." And then so, and this is the first time I've ever spoken to him. Never met him or anything like that. So then after the game, they win. We actually try to throw a Hail Mary to win the game. We catch it but don't get it in. As funny as that is. And then so I find him after the game. I said, "Hey Tom, you still got me on the jersey, right?" He said, "Yeah, I got you." So I'm waiting it, and so he doesn't do it on the field. Usually it happens on the field. He doesn't do it on the field. He goes in the locker room, and then I'm in the locker room. I asked the equipment guy, "Hey, did a back come?" They said no. I said, "Dude, can you go over there and talk to the equipment manager? Like, Tom told me he's supposed to give me the jersey." And he said, "Dude, he's gonna do it when he gets back in Foxborough." And I'm thinking, man, if he leaves here with that jersey, I'm not getting a jersey. Yeah, I'm not on his priority list. So I said, "Man, go tell him, please." I'm praying, I'm thinking hard, crossing my fingers. And then the equipment guy runs back with a black bag. He said, "No way." I look at it and it says two prints from one goat to another. And I'm kidding. It didn't say from one goat to another. It said two prints. He put two prints of very good player. And I said, "Cool, I'll take it." And the funny thing about that is that somebody offered me 500,000 for the jersey already, and I said, "Yeah, there's no way." Because to me that jersey's priceless because that's like That's like a signed Michael Jordan
It's
jersey.
half a million.
Man,
Half
that
a
is not worth
Man,
it, man. That is not worth it. You listen, to be
500,
honest,
500K.
Prince, another
to be
tax
honest,
bracket turning down
listen,
500,000. I'd
to be
take that and run to
honest,
the bank.
$5 million is not even worth the jersey. But listen, just hear me out, because I was working out with Odell this offseason, and I was telling him about the story because I think I have a real good collection of jerseys, and I was asking Odell his collection. I think his kind of beats mine by a little bit, but I said. I said, "Hey, like, have you ever got offered?" Like, he said, "Yeah, a lot of people offered me." And I was telling Tom. Tom said, "Man, just sell it. I'll give you another one." I was like, "Man, I see. I don't. If I could do that, then
That's
I might do that.
wild.
But I don't have, I don't have that connection with Tom."
That's wild.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would have
That's
sold that
wild.
and said, "OBJ, just
That
ask Tom
thing,
for another and have him sign this one from
that thing is on
another." He'll write
E.
whatever you want on there, I think, at that point. Oh, man, that's an interesting
They
story.
would have
Now,
been up on eBay by now
Yeah.
already.
half a milli. Has you or anyone ever told that story, by the way, of the watching the film the day after? I don't know if I've heard that anywhere. Is that the first time you're saying this?
Yeah, this is the first time I've said it. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Breaking a little
Yeah.
scoop from Prince here. Prince, by the way, you've had a very successful after career life here. I read that you do stuff with Airbnb. You have a Wren and Wolf is one of your restaurants in Phoenix. You have
Yeah.
restaurants, you got town hall. Tell us everything you're doing because you're a realtor. We had Hagen on a few weeks ago. He's apparently a realtor out on the West Coast as
G
well.
Hagen?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing realtor
Yeah, he's
stuff.
out here.
Might be your competition out there. But
Yeah, he
what
is.
are you up to in your post? Because you just basically retired as a Giant in August, so this is kind of
Right.
fresh off the NFL here.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I got that appetite from watching Shark Tank, and Shark Tank kind of made me think, hey, I could invest in a company, and my return could be a million X on what I did. And so I try to do that route, the venture route, like investing in small companies, and I went away from that, and I found myself in real estate. And so out here in Arizona. Um, there's like Airbnb short-term rentals are pretty hot right now. And then I met a guy in the restaurant business, and restaurant businesses are known for not giving any returns or doing terribly. And so I found a guy who actually went to my high school, and he's crushing it. Right in downtown Phoenix, it's a nice pocket. It's right by the Suns Arena, and we have a fine dining like Mexican cuisine, and we have an American cuisine spots and more concepts coming up. We also have a sneak easy down in downtown Phoenix too. Yeah, and then I also own a FedEx route, 18 trucks, 18 drivers, and an assisted living home. So if you guys got any family members, let me know. We take real good care of them. But yeah, I'm
Hey,
kind of all over the place, just trying to stay busy.
Well, I'm going to
what?
Phoenix. I'm eating at Prince's restaurants. I'm eating at these places. I'm expecting some free calamari or something coming
Yeah.
out to the West Coast.
I took some of the Giants people out here, the medical staff. I wanted to, just show a little thank you to them. So when they came up here, I have this like huge, like it's like a sprinter van, Mercedes Sprinter van, and I like gave them full service, picked them up, took them to the restaurant, comped everything out, and took them back to the hotel. Yeah, I just wanted to show my appreciation to the Giants staff, so it was awesome.
BL, I don't want to hear you complain about your one kid. He's got five and all these restaurants and everything going on. Like
Man.
that's think
Hey,
about
with
I got
five
one
kids,
day
with five
of the
kids,
weekday.
you
Come
need
on.
all them businesses. You
Right. No,
that's a lot of
exactly.
mouths to
No.
feed. Because
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a lot of college tuitions to pay and mouths to feed. So we love to see what you're doing. How important was it for you to retire that one day contract? The Giants drafted you. Obviously, you had a couple good years with the Bears, but I mean, you are a Giant, and I think signing of the
Right.
Giants means, hey, I'm a New York Giant.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, it was everyone asked like, why'd you sign? Like, why'd you sign on one day? Like, what? Like, why didn't you just go off into the wind? And so, to me, it was just very important to kind of like close that book shut, like, and just say, hey, like, I'm done, especially to myself. And then also, I feel like at that time, of retirement, like, I wanted to thank my parents, and so my parents, like, I flew them straight from Nigeria to New York, and they were there, and it was just a thankful moment just for them. And so just since being a parent, reevaluating, um like how much sacrifice they had for me, and just knowing how much I'm sacrificing for my kids, it was just super emotional, and I wanted to express to them how much they meant to me and the sacrifices they had. So it was more for them than it was for me.
two-part question. Do you think Odell does the same thing? Signs a
I
one
was
day and
talking.
retires as a Giant? And do you think Saquon retires as a Giant?
Well, he's got more time to go
Yeah.
till that day comes. But
I was talking to Vic. It's so funny because Vic was at my retirement ceremony, and I was talking to him, and I was asking him the same thing. And it's tough because Odell did win a Super Bowl with the Rams, but I mean, New York is where he made his name. New York is kind of what he's known for, and I would bet I would say that he does. I don't think he has any differences here. I think he loves everyone in New York, and so yeah, I would think so. And then with Saquon, I would also say so. Yeah, just and especially because we both like we were all three of us were drafted here first round, and stuff like that. So 100%, I think they would.
I'm still focused on this watching film after Super Bowl. That's still blowing my mind over here. Like
Wow.
I love those kind of stories because you just never think of that's even a possibility. You think of burn the film and maybe watch it in a month or two. You watch it OTAs or something, not the day after you just won. Prince, you retire a Giant. Lawrence has mentioned a lot like this team feels like broken and the franchise. He's frustrated as a former Giant. Are you in that spot where it's like, man, what happened to the Giants we know and love that make the playoffs every year, that won 2 Super Bowls? Obviously you're on the other side of the country. Maybe you're not as locked in as always, but is it frustrating for you as a guy who literally just signed off your one-day contract being a Giant to see a team fight for a top 5 pick almost every year, except last year?
It's so I'm in a little different spot right now just because I'm just now new to becoming a fan. Because before, I mean, I like I don't know if everyone felt like this, but when I left the Giants, I wanted them to have a losing season every year. Like that's just how I
Mhm.
I felt personally. Every team I left, was whether it was the Jaguars or even when it was the Bears, like I wanted them to like miss me somehow. That's whatever narcissistic, conceited, whatever. That's just how I felt. So now that I'm done, obviously, yeah, the Giants are my team or one of my teams, so I want them to do good. And so, I I don't have any feelings yet. I think there's still. I hate to use the word or the term rebuild, but yeah, I don't have any feelings towards that. I'm not in panic mode yet. I mean, Dave just had a great year last year. This year, he's experiencing a little adversity. I think next year would be. Um, I think that would be the year to kind of judge him
Evaluate
on,
him.
to say, yeah, exactly.
Is Daniel Jones the future, or do the Giants need a new quarterback?
Oh, BL, you did not tell me I was going to be on a hot seat. Uh,
Uh,
but these, no, these are good
Curious.
questions. I it's I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I would have to see what his I'd have to see what his contract looks like. I know he got 40, I believe, this year, and he's coming off an injury, so it's gonna be tough. I mean, the thing is that last year, if you were to ask me this question with how he finished last year, that would be a yes, obviously, because and obviously because they paid him. Now this year, I just feel like it's not enough to evaluate him on. I know that's a PC type answer, but it's not. Again, I'm not ready to cast him off as of yet. I had a lot of high hopes.
All right,
I played
BL,
with
I think.
Darren Waller. Darren Waller's my guy, and I had a
Mhm.
lot of high hopes. Like with his offense, I'm high on Slayton. I played against Slayton. Slayton is a great wide receiver to me. I love to press, and Slayton was real good at getting off press coverage. And so just with him, Darren Waller, Saquon, it's just like it's. I just feel like I need to see them all together one more time.
You like the core pieces and you want them to build off that. I kind
Yeah,
of agree with you, man. Like, but again, each year a team is going to be completely different. A
a hundred
roster
percent.
is going to be completely different. Next year, one of those guys may not be healthy. It's every year it's its own story. So, when the Giants, the next time they come into a season with so much expectation and what we call firepower, they need to
Yeah,
capitalize on that season there. And who knows when that's going to be. Hopefully it's next year. They can kind of build off of whatever good they can do for the remainder of this season. But going forward, man, like, yeah, like times a lot of guys frustrated and all, but at the end of the day, you still hold your breath knowing that there's hope that they're going to right the ship at some point.
right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Prince Amukamara, this was fantastic, man. Sorry for grilling you a little bit, but we
No
loved hearing
worries.
the stories. We loved
Yeah, man.
hearing everything. If you want to shout out your restaurants or whatever when anyone's in Phoenix, now's your chance. Let us know where we should go.
For sure. So please check out Lennon Wolf, um, American cuisine, fine dining. Same with Chico Malo, Mexican fine dining, and then the speakeasy is called Trophy Room. Um, check it out. Tag us there. They all have their own Instagram handles, and I promise you, you won't regret it.
Awesome. We're going to eat next time we're in Phoenix.
Do a
We'll
live
All right.
podcast there.
we'll do a live show from one of the restaurants.
Sweet. Yeah.
Stuff our face with food. That's my middle name. So if there's food, I'm there. We really appreciate the time, Prince. Super Bowl champion, Giants great. Thanks for coming on Blue Rush.
Man, thanks for having me.
Man, some fascinating stuff there from Prince Amukamara. I had never heard. That might be some breaking news here on the podcast that the defense was watching game film the day after winning the Super Bowl. I mean, that's unheard of. And then he got offered $500,000 for that Tom Brady signed jersey, game used jersey, and said no when he could have easily probably got that somewhere else and for less money or for free. So that's two fascinating nuggets from a fantastic interview. Prince Amukamara killing it in his post NFL career with all these restaurants and Airbnbs. He is doing the damn thing, as that will say in the words of Lawrence Tynes. Cheerio to episode 167 of Blue Rush, our New York Giants podcast on the New York Post. Thanks to Andrew Hartz and the intern Mason Radicchio for helping me in producing the show. Subscribe to Blue Rush wherever you get podcasts. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Give us a 5-star rating. Write in a nice review, and you can watch us right now. And if you are, we appreciate it on the New York Post Sports YouTube page. Find that Blue Rush playlist. Love the comments. Love what everyone's saying. I've been behind the scenes. I occasionally will step in and fill in. We were down 2 hosts today. So I was Lenny Harris. I was the pinch hitter and filled in for the great Lawrence Tynes and Paul Schwartz. Like below, give us that thumbs up. Comment below. How you feeling about the Giants? It was a nice win. Seems like the Commanders, they always find a way to beat them. Good win. How you feeling right now after the win? Patriots coming up. I think the Giants will beat the Patriots and get to 4-8. The Patriots have a quarterback problem. They're a mess right now. And I think the Giants defense is going to put a lot of pressure on them like they did to Sam Howell. And how about Devito? Sacked 9 times, gets up to 10th. What a game from him. 3 touchdowns. So shout out. Game ball goes to Tommy DeVito. For Brandon London, Prince Amukamara, I'm Jake Brown. We will return next week. We are off here this week. The guys are off for Thanksgiving. So the Giants will play Sunday. We'll have a post-game show. No Blue Rush preview on Thursday. Post-game show we'll record next Sunday night after Giants-Patriots. That'll drop next Monday on the New York Post Sports YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. We thank you so much for your support of Blue Rush all season long. We hope you and your family have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for listening to Blue Rush.